Logline. The U.S. races Russia and China to make a computer that will break all codes and reveal all secrets. Published mathematical proofs unwittingly alert Russia and China about an American quantum computer. Entangled is Oppenheimer Meets Arrival, a thriller about what happens when a human mind creates a super intelligence. Synopsis. James, a 26-year-old PhD chemist, builds the first highly stable quantum computer. His machine proves two previously unsolvable mathematical problems. It has the potential to break the encryption systems that protect global finance and military power. James becomes a modern-day Prometheus, stealing mathematical fire from the gods. Russia and China race to get a copy of the design. James' girlfriend is kidnapped by the Russian mob, forcing him to choose between saving the woman he loves and preventing a global technological arms race. He chooses love and unleashes a future where nations weaponize mathematics itself. Entangled story. Act 1. The Army Research Lab, ARL, fires all its vendors working on quantum projects. They have all been working years, spending lots of money and getting nowhere. The protagonist, James Williams, is hired by ARL because he has a better idea for building a larger quantum computer. He proceeds to build a first-rate team and falls in love at a Christmas party. Act 2. The team builds a large-scale quantum system and tests that the machine really works by proving mathematical theorems humans haven't been able to. They are successful and publish proofs to the Riemann hypothesis and the Goldbach conjecture on AR-Fotstuar. Both Russia and China infer the Americans have done it. China tries cyber attacks, and Russia asks their mob to kidnap the protagonist's girlfriend and ransom her for the design. Act 3. The Russian mob is successful in getting the design and returns the girlfriend. The mob decides to sell it to the Chinese, who in turn double-cross the mob and steal it while killing them. American cybersecurity forces let the protagonist know he has committed treason, so he is in their control now. The film ends with the Americans building a quantum internet, the Russians looting the European Central Bank, and the Chinese building autonomous military robots. The ending opens the way for the next episode of the franchise. Consequences. A quantum internet where unhackable security exists. All science advances beyond human ability to comprehend. Warfare advances to a new, more dangerous level. Destabilizes the world power structure. World and science rules. Core premise. A large quantum computer gives the U.S. a huge advantage. World rules. Players will kill people to get their way. What is possible? Superintelligence becomes possible, and classical encryption is doomed. Comparable films: Interstellar, emotional core, anchored in love. Oppenheimer, scientific obsession. Tenet, quantum abstraction. Mr. Robot, anti-establishment genius. Arrival, philosophical sci-fi. Characters. Dr. James Williams, protagonist. In his arc, he moves from bright star, then success, and then commits treason to save his love. He is forced to mature quickly in the ways of the world as he becomes a modern-day Prometheus. Liang Wei. She is a Chinese doctoral student at Stanford and a Chinese spy. Lorraine Chen. Love interest, late 20s, Johns Hopkins medical student. Intelligent, compassionate, grounded, direct. Curious about James' work. Her arc as love interest moves to hostage and then to one that's sure of her partner's love. Eli. Late 20s, outstanding programmer out of Georgia Tech. He is a helpful and talented member of James' staff. Dr. Susan Lee. Software lead, age 30, Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. Brilliant, blunt, quick thinking. Highly experienced on quantum computing. Her arc moves from curious if James can do it to using his machine to go beyond human thought. Dr. Sophia Volkov, late 20s out of MIT, child prodigy and genius at mathematics. Like Dr. Lee, she is curious to see if James can do it. Once he succeeds, she is instrumental in pushing for validation from the mathematical community. Brigadier General Richardson, mentor/authority. His age is late 50 and is a large black man with an easygoing temperament. He had a gift for administration, functions as the quantum program manager. He represents institutional pressure and consequences of breakthroughs. Major General Maisie Kruger, in charge of ARL and its budget, highly frustrated by the lack of performance of the vendors working on quantum projects. Her arc is one of frustration, skepticism that comes from taking a risk, elation it worked, to fury at how it was handled. Ivan Papanov. He is the mob boss the Russian cybersecurity deals with to obtain the design. Former Spetsnaz, still has some patriotism, but professional and businesslike. However, brutal when necessary. His arc is to feel the pull of patriotism, changing to greed, and paying the price. Dmitry Ivanov, mob underboss, motivated purely by greed and wants the top job. Treacherous. Why would the audience care? At its core, the story is not geopolitical, it's personal. The protagonist, James, faces an impossible choice: save his girlfriend and commit treason, or sacrifice her and be a patriot. He chooses love. This is the emotional engine. Audiences care because they understand that choice. Everyone has someone they would sacrifice the world for. James literally has that choice. Tone. Political. The geopolitical dimension is cold, strategic, and morally ambiguous. Visually, the film is minimalist and controlled. The world feels orderly on the surface and unstable underneath. Philosophical. Entangled is tragic and existential. What does it mean to be smarter than humanity? Should some knowledge remain undiscovered? Is love worth destabilizing the world? The ending is not triumphant. It's quiet, ominous, and irreversible. The audience leaves, not exhilarated, but disturbed, and talking about it. Emotional stakes. Protagonist has to choose between love and patriotism. Army Research Lab officers fear they are betting their careers on a risky approach. Moral dilemma. Saving his girlfriend is treason. No effort China and Russia won't go to in order to get the design. Irreversible turning point. When the second proof is uploaded to ARCRE, letting the world know the Americans have a working large quantum engine. Themes and philosophical core. Theme. Civilization is built by solving difficult problems. What happens when superintelligence arrives? Philosophical core. The greatest threat to humanity is not ignorance, but a rogue superintelligence. Visual language. The visual world of Entangled is defined by a single contrast: perfect order versus hidden instability. On the surface, everything is clean, precise, geometric, and controlled. Underneath, reality is fracturing. The film avoids flashy sci-fi aesthetics. Instead, it feels plausible, restrained, and close to our world. Think Oppenheimer realism, ex machina minimalism, Arrival atmospheric gravity, interstellar emotion, and Mr. Robot psychological framing. Visual style. Entangled adopts a grounded, minimalist visual language that treats quantum technology not as spectacle, but as sacred and dangerous. The film's aesthetic evolves from clinical order to geopolitical darkness, using symmetry, negative space, and subtle visual motifs to mirror the collapse of uncertainty and the rise of mathematical power. Visually, it feels less like science fiction and more like the moment reality begins to fracture. Audience. Entangled targets a high-value global audience that intersects prestige, science fiction, geopolitical thrillers, and contemporary technological anxiety. Its combination of emotional stakes and intellectual ambition positions it to perform strongly in both theatrical and streaming markets, with significant franchise and cross-platform potential. Age, 18 to 49. Strongest, 25 to 45. Gender. Skew male, but balanced by emotional storyline. Education, mid to high intellectual engagement, psychographic, curious, tech-aware, geopolitically literate. These are the audiences that drove success for Oppenheimer, Interstellar, Ex Machina, Arrival, Dune, Mr. Robot, Black Mirror. This is a high-value audience. They watch deeply, discuss online, and rewatch. Market potential. Unlike many sci-fi films, Entangled is inherently international. Key markets: North America, Europe, China, Korea, India, and Japan. Reasons: quantum computing is a global narrative. Russia/China/US stakes create international relevance. Math and technology transcend culture. This is crucial for theatrical viability. Theatrical, premium sci-fi. Arrival, $200 million. Interstellar, $700 million, and Oppenheimer, $900 million. Streaming and prestige series. Potential. Ideal platforms: Netflix, Apple TV+, HBO, and Amazon. These platforms actively seek intelligent sci-fi, geopolitical thrillers, original IP universes. Franchise potential. Entangled is designed as the first chapter in a multi-platform universe exploring the consequences of greater than human knowledge. Each sequel and series expands the scope, from personal tragedy to geopolitical conflict to existential transformation, while remaining grounded in character and real-world technological trajectories. The franchise evolves from discovery to domination to the question of whether humanity can survive its own technology. Estimated production budget. Target sweet spot: $45 to $65 million. Positions Entangled as a prestige, adult sci-fi thriller, not a VFX-heavy tentpole. Minimal to none VFX. Real-world locations. Technology portrayed realistically. Tension driven by performance, dialogue, and ideas. Why this story now? Unlike the 20th century, today's conflict is not ideological. It is technological. Nations are competing over computation, data, cryptography, AI, and quantum supremacy. Entangled captures this new reality. No heroes, no villains, only rational actors pursuing survival. That moral ambiguity feels modern. Entangled arrives at the exact moment when humanity is beginning to understand that its greatest threat is no longer weapons or armies, but rather rogue intelligence.